Hi, this is Carl Palachuk, and this is another SOP video for managed service providers. Today I want to talk about a little perspective regarding service agreements. Several people have emailed me recently asking about, well, do you include this in your service agreement and that in your service agreement, and do you have your response times and all this other kind of stuff? The important thing you have to know about service agreements is that they really serve one primary purpose, and that is to define the legal relationship between you and your clients. A very, very important secondary piece is to define the tax relationship between you and your clients. So the government knows you're going to pay your taxes, they're going to pay their taxes, you're not an employee, and therefore you're two different corporations or two different entities dealing with one another. You should always sign your contracts and anything else in your business with your official legal name. So if you're a sole proprietor, you might say that it's Carl Palachuk doing business as a company. If you're an S Corp or an LLC or whatever, then you would say that it is Carl Palachuk, president of that company, and give the exact company name as it is incorporated or set up or whatever. And that way you are acting as a member of the company and not as an individual. That helps separate your personal stuff from the business stuff. The kinds of things that you do not need to put into your service agreement are all of the details of your plan. Whether it's 4 computers or 6 computers or 2 servers or these cloud services or whatever, you can append that to the main contract, or you can say see the service sheet, or you can have a reference to something that lists out what people are buying in a specific year, but you don't have to have all of that complicated stuff inside the service agreement. Remember, you want the relationship to go on as long as possible. So you can have the service agreement renew every year or every 30 days, whatever makes sense for you. But you don't have to keep the same plan. You can keep the relationship by having the contract continue, but have the details change year to year or even month to month, depending on what your relationship is. Remember, if a relationship is going well, no contract is going to make it better. And if a relationship is going poorly, no contract is going to keep that person as your client. If they just simply stop paying their bill, eventually you will stop serving them. So it may get messy and all that other kind of stuff, but a contract is not going to save a bad relationship. If you give bad service, if you do something you shouldn't do, they will leave you. If the client stops paying, you will leave them, right? So don't get confused about the difference between maintaining the relationship and having a good contract. The contract has a legal purpose, it has a tax purpose, and it defines in very broad terms, hey, I'm going to send you a bill, you're going to pay me. This interest is allowed or not allowed, and here are the service fees, and all of that stuff that doesn't change in the relationship. Things like what our service offering is and what our Cloud 5-pack looks like, that can be on a sales sheet that determines what kind of service they buy at any given time over the course of a year, or again, every quarter, every month, whatever you want to do. Have a good contract that does its job, but remember that its job is not to get you tied into the specific details of exactly what is delivered on a specific day. So separate those two out, and if you want to, you can even say, see the amendment, and have literally staple the annual agreement at the end of the contract every year, and that way you've got the details on one side, but the main contract separated out. Thanks for sending me your questions, and I'm always happy to try to provide advice where I can. Remember, of course, I'm not a lawyer, but I've been doing this for over 20 years. For Small Biz Thoughts, this is Carl Palachuk, wishing you all the best in your managed service business.